Hello, it's Flepaster here with another video. This time I'm gonna be taking a first look at the Stormgate hotfix and balance patch 0.3.2, which just dropped. Well, it dropped like an hour or two ago, but I didn't look at the notes yet until now, so you'll get my first impressions. And of course I mainly care about the 1v1 stuff, so I'll be looking with an eye on those. So it's starting with hotkeys and automated control groups. Let's see. I know there were a bunch of bugs related to those. Missing hotkeys in the command card have been fixed on several units. Yeah, I noticed that the Skull of Sheda was not something that you can assign to the global control group. And I guess that applied some other things as well. Right. Yeah, Skull of Sheda is now available to assign hotkeys and automatic control groups too. Fixed an issue where certain abilities would not work if you were shift queuing them and using by command style hotkeys. Okay, that sounds very specific, not a real idea what that was about. Fixed an issue where morphed units that have been manually removed from a control group would be re-added by automatic control groups when morphing. Morphed units. Maybe some co-op thing, like nothing comes to mind from morphed units. Fixed an issue where dropping units from a transport would add them to a control group if you had an automatic control group set up for them. Okay. Gameplay. Fixed an issue where users would occasionally get kicked out of a game with no error message. Oh yeah, there were a lot of these. Some people couldn't really play the ladder because they get kicked out of games. And there was another one with people queuing, and if they cancel the queue, they just get a loss. That doesn't seem to be fixed, or maybe it's somehow under this as well. Fixed an issue where some regions were incorrectly seeing tombstones, green blood. Oh, this must be for like the Chinese region. A removal of bones from these units on the map. Apparently, some people were getting it unintentionally, so that's all for the actual fixes. I'm not sure if this fixes the issue where you get stuck in the queue and if you cancel, you get a loss. So I'll have to see people reporting on that. So, balance changes. General, workers. Oh. None of the workers anymore have the light tag. That's interesting. Without change to worker health across the board, sometimes the ability to kill workers got too volatile. In addition, in the past we had to balance our anti-light units around the fact that they could decimate workers, which we felt was too restrictive. These changes will hopefully allow us to better modulate the pace at which workers die, as well as design stronger anti-light units. That kinda makes sense, yeah. Yeah, like Lancers don't just slaughter your imps that well now. Yeah. I think it's overall a pretty good chance. Like, imps, if it's not a battle unit, it doesn't need to have like a tag. It can just be a neutral armor unit. Vanguard, pops, health increased from 100 to 110. I feel like this was made specifically just to counter Archangels. And I don't know, well, maybe this gotta be done for Infernal too, let's see. So last patch we greatly decreased the health of workers across the game, and we feel the Bob is now perhaps a bit too vulnerable. I mean, it's still stronger than him at least. In general, we feel that just modifying the health of workers tends to get us into situations where harassment is either too volatile or too difficult. In the future, we'll be looking for alternate levers to allow us to modulate this dynamic. Lancer, health decreased from 240 to 210. Wasn't it decreased to 220 in the last patch, or was it from 260 to 240? Okay. Damage increased from 10 plus 5 verse light, 5 verse structures to 12. 3 verse light, 3 verse structures. So they got more base damage. They will be better versus brutes, and they still do less damage against workers, but only 3 damage less. So this still gives them a good unit for killing workers, just not quite as good. And it's an overall damage buff. Like, they will be better against, thinking as an Infernal specifically, they will be better against brutes and magmadons especially. We are going to do the Lancer to be more of a brawler than a tank. I mean, that's good. I mean, 30 hit points less is somewhat significant. I think it compounds with the promotions as well. Those probably scale of the base HP, although I'm not 100% sure. We're going to tune the Lancer to be more of a brawler than a tank, which we believe will enable more exciting battles, especially on tier 1. In addition, we'll be reducing the specialized damage its unit has, which was a goal we had stated for all tier 1 units in a previous patch. Yeah, sure. EXO. +1 damage. Damage increased from 14 plus diverse heavy to 15 plus diverse heavy. Like, why? Yes, a +1 damage change on EXOs. Last patch we reduced the range of EXOs in order to temper their guiding power and grant more counterplay. We feel this was changed in the right direction, but they're feeling a bit weak. That definitely depends on who you ask. As an Infernal player, they're not feeling a single bit too weak. So we are giving them just a smidge more power. Alright. Medtech offensive non-swarm damage decreased from 300 damage to 200 damage over 20 seconds. 200 is still a lot, but 300 was like way too much. We saw some cool plays, suicide plays from Medtech against Prisms in recent tournaments. Though this was really cool, it's probably not super healthy in the long run, so we'll be reverting the amount of damage they can do offensively. I guess it was 200 before, okay, sure, fair enough. Hornet fixed an issue where Skymans did not cost Luminite. This was of course very important. Skymans intended cost decreased from 25 to 10. It's like free now, okay, that's awesome. Anti-ground damage decreased from 8 to 7. That's good. Like, it's 1 less damage, but because their base damage is only 8, it's fairly significant. I don't know what that 10 cost though, they can still spam them so much. Well, anyway. We fixed an issue where Skymines were not costing the intended amount of money. At the same time, we received feedback that Skymines were too expensive at 25 Luminite, so we'll try lowering the cost of Skymines in this patch. In addition, because of the new flocking behavior, you've seen elements generally get more powerful. This is especially true for Hornets, units that often receive a powerful area of effect defensive nanoswarm bonus. As such, we'd like to slightly decrease the straight-up fighting power of Hornets against ground units. I don't know if this is anywhere near enough, but it's a step in the right direction for them at least. Like, all of these are good compared to just Skymines being free and their damage being 8, so it's a straight-up nerf to them, even though this is still not amazing. Like, Skymines only costing 10 Luminite. Infernal. Fiend damage decreased back from 8 to 7. No. Our most recent buffs to Fiends allow them to be slightly too destructive. Like, in what situation? I didn't really see any. I just saw people being happy that they can actually be used for harassment now. I don't remember seeing anyone complaining about them being like too good. Like, that'd be a very weird complaint. I don't really understand this one. So Bobs have more hit points again, and Fiends do less damage, so Fiends can't do that much harassment. Anyway. Hexen fixed a bug where Venom traps could damage structures. Okay, I wasn't even aware of that. Miasma range decreased from 13 to 10. Miasma damage multiplier increased from 8 to 10. Damage per second increased from... I mean, this is just the same thing. Like, this is just a different way to phrase this. Like, we both wanted Miasma to be stronger threat in general, now it have more counterplay, but like, it got nerfed so much, it really wasn't that strong threat in general, and even giving like 20% more damage on top of that does not make it strong. So when you combine that with the range decrease, this is just like actually an overall nerf to Miasma, I think. Yeah, I don't know. Like, together with the Lancer hit point change, they will be slightly better against Bio overall, but it's going to be still a tool exclusively against Bio. Like, it doesn't really have any other use. Magma cost changed from 250, 150 to 275, 125. Okay, Well, this is a good change, switching some of our Therium dependency into Luminite. I think that's fair. In IVI, that of course means Magmaron is even more spammable than before. So it's not healthy for that matchup, but overall I think it's a good change. Hellborn, cost changed from 250, 150 to 300, 125. Okay, so 50 more Luminite, 25 less Therium, so it's more expensive overall, but also takes less Therium. Now this one is funny. Hellborn damage changed from 25 plus 25 versus structure to 30 plus... Oh, plus 30 versus heavy and 30 versus structure. Okay, that's interesting. That's actually an interesting change. Like I first just saw it got 5 more damage, that's like kinda whatever, but 30 more against heavy. I'll have to stew on that one. I'm thinking that helicarriers are probably heavy, so this once again makes them slightly better against helicarriers, because they just tickled them before. It makes them better against probably Dragon, I would think that's probably heavy as well. A bit better against... Is Archangel heavy? I would think so, but maybe not. It makes them better against the other Hellborn. Better against Magmaron. Yeah, I mean, it's a good change, but it's not immediate where it's actually going to help you. I don't mind the increased Luminite cost that much, because it's usually a Therium that stays you as Infernal. So making it more cheap in Therium is overall good. Shatter damage decreased. Splash damage. This splash damage was already like so irrelevant at 25%. Now it's only 20%. Like, you can't really even call that splash damage anymore. Yeah, actual splash damage is like 6. Sure. As Therium starvation is one of the biggest complaints from Infernal players, true. We'd like to tweak some unit costs to lean more toward Luminite. In addition, we have received feedback that Infernals could use stronger single-target anti-heavy weapons. These mechanical vanguard strategies can be sometimes hard for Infernals. So are we talking about Vulcan? Is it supposed to be a counter to Vulcan? 60 damage shots. Vulcan's like 500 to 700 hit points depending on promotion, I think. Well, sure, it's gonna help against Mass Vulcan. I don't know if it's like usable against Mass Vulcan, but sure, I'll take that. Celestial Collection Array. Build time increased from 92 seconds to 100 seconds, so 10 seconds more for Collection Array. Morph time increased from 6 to 7 seconds, so 10 seconds more on that as well. And Prism build time increased from 55 to 60 seconds. So they are addressing economy and also building speed, basically. This, especially 10 seconds, is fairly significant for proxies and pretty much nothing else. So they made very small changes to make proxies slightly weaker and economy very slightly slower. Celestial economy was slightly too far ahead relative to other factions. True, so we are making some tweaks to help balance them out. Yeah, I think this kind of very small changes are probably fine, especially this one might help with the one base rushes, maybe. Top power power cost increased. That's good because it was way too powerful. So maybe higher cost is gonna help that a bit. Oh, and recharge time increased from 2 minutes to 3 minutes. That's also very good. As players have gotten better at the game, they have learned more about the power of this top power ability. We are adjusting the cost and cooldown of the ability to better match its current perceived power. Yeah, I think Purify has been pretty toxic with how spammable and strong it is. Arc Ship. Skyward Salvation's heal per second decreased from 15 to 10. I think that's like the AoE heal that Arc Ships have. Skyward Salvation duration increased from 20 to 30 seconds. Okay, so it heals less but longer time. Total health restored unchanged. Okay. Skyward Salvation was like too powerful in certain rush strategies, so proxies basically. We have tuned that down without impacting its out-of-combat effectiveness. Argent damage decreased from 10 plus 3 versus heavy to 9 plus 2 versus heavy. Okay, so I was first. Like, I'm not sure if we really want to nerf Argents, but I see that we are making the high energy shots take only half the energy they used to, so that's actually probably an overall nerf, because Yeah, let's see. Resulting high energy damage changed from 15 plus 4.5 to heavy to 13.5 plus 3 to heavy. We want Argents to be a more reliable tier 1 unit, so we are reducing its charge up damage in exchange for more consistent damage in moderately long fights. I think this is good overall. I'm not sure if the damage nerf is still too much, but I'll take it, and it makes, of course, the proxies a bit more holdable, with like the 1 less damage, 2 less damage to brutes. Cree. The Radiant Fury trait now increases Blaze of Light damage by 20, plus 20 with Light down from 40. That's like the end damage when they die. And I think the Radiant Fury, that's probably an upgrade, right? I'm not 100% sure, but I think so. It's gonna be still the same damage to Fiends and Guns, Exos for example, but not 40 damage to everything, including workers. I can see this probably a specific call, not make it like kill workers so easily. Right, we'd like to tune Radiant Fury to be more specialized, especially in a way that prevents them from being able to decimate worker lines, yeah. And Vector anti-ground range increased from 3 to 4, yeah, that seems fine, 3 damage is super short. Anti-ground damage changed from 9 to 8 plus 2 with Light. Not workers no longer have the light tag, we feel more comfortable giving vectors more of a combat role. Yeah, that seems fine. They have been very weak on the ground scenarios now. Adding manager fixed an issue where Dark Prophecy would sometimes not deal the intended amount of damage. I saw talk about this, but I don't remember if it was dealing too little or too much damage. And Dark Prophecy no longer ramps up in damage over time. But they don't explain that, like how much. Does that it mean it deals steady damage now, or it deals less damage? It doesn't clarify that. Behind the scenes, this was one of the most complicated abilities in the game without enough coolness to justify the complexity. We will be reducing the complexity to enable it to deal more consistent damage. I guess it means it just deals the same damage every tick. They could have clarified the tick amount here, but okay. Archangel unit size decreased from 1.2 to 1. Archangel still felt a bit too clumsy as a melee unit, and we think they could afford to sink down a bit given the current art. So this is just a buff to Archangels. They will be able to fight more effectively because they clump together more. And it's already a super powerful unit on the ground. So it's kind of interesting to see a buff to Archangels. Anyway, I think overall good changes. I don't think it's gonna fix all the pain points, but pretty much everything here seems good to me. I don't think all of it was necessary, like the Fiend damage decrease, for example. Not all of it is like probably what's exactly needed for that unit, but I think there's some good changes, and I'm curious to see how it plays out, especially with the Hellborn change, I guess. That's probably the most interesting one, and also the Worker Light tag change is pretty big. Against stuff like Lancer Harass, for example. And Miasma should be slightly better against Bio specifically, and still completely useful against mechs, so that's interesting, I guess. Yeah, overall a pretty good balance patch this time. I'm happy with the direction they're going with the balance patches overall. And that's all for now. I will be playing more later, and of course you can catch me live on twitch.tv/Flipaster. And for now, have a nice evening, have a nice day, peace out.